Hi, I'm Val Hart in San Antonio, Texas, founder of Val Hart and Friends at valhart.com. Welcome to the Real Dr. Doolittle Show, the show for animals and the people who love them. I've been called a real-life Dr. Doolittle many times in my career as an expert animal communicator, behaviorist, pet psychic, and master healer. My mission and passion is to improve the lives of animals the world over by helping humans learn how to speak their language, how to understand their viewpoints, and heal. After all, our love of animals helps us be better humans, and the more balanced and healthy we are, the more balanced and healthy they can be too. Be sure and look for my CDs on iTunes. And to find out more about my work and to receive your free Quick Start Animal Talk course, just go to my website at valhart.com. While you're there for a limited time, you can also apply for a complimentary Happy Animal Assessment session. And if you want to learn how to be your own Dr. Doolittle, check out the world's first complete Animal Communication Made Easy system available now on my website at valhart.com. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Val Hart, the Real Dr. Doolittle, and my guest today is Angela Adkins. She's a fellow animal lover. She's also a practitioner and instructor for the Bodytalk system of energy medicine, and she teaches another wonderful life-changing technique called Mindscape, which is partly why I wanted to talk to her today. Angela specializes in transformation and personal growth, and her passion is in helping people live a more inspired and conscious life. She partners with her husband, Todd, in teaching, and they live in Dallas, Texas, with their two children, Lauren and Cal. Welcome, Angela.
Hi, Val. It's great to be here.
Good. I'm so glad you could join us. So tell us, how did your journey into this type of work begin?
Well, in my 20s, I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines.
Cool.
And I traveled the world.
Wow.
I absolutely loved my job. It was an amazing opportunity to learn about people firsthand. You know, people were my best teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized during that time period of not sleeping and having jet lag and not taking care of my body nutritionally, I became very ill. And I ignited a disease in my body that was part familial, and also I had a little bit of history of immune issues. But I had what many doctors describe as fibromyalgia-like symptoms and chronic fatigue, it can be very debilitating.
Yes.
And I started down this road of immense pain, depression, inability to sleep. I had insomnia, and it was cascading into a very serious situation. And in my quest to discover natural alternative therapies for my healing, I decided to go to massage therapy school. What I realized was, doing the job that I was doing, although I loved it, wasn't the best environment for me physically, mentally, or to raise children.
Yeah.
I saw so many moms cry on the jump seat because they were missing their baby's first steps. And I thought, I just can't do that, even though Hawaii is tempting. So massage therapy school was my first step, and then it just took off from there.
Wow.
And I specialized in fibromyalgia care. And, of course, as we do as practitioners, healing myself as I facilitated that for other people.
Right.
Loved what I did, became so healthy, and but still had some missing links in my wellness. I still had questions unanswered, and that's when the Bodytalk system came into my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. And, that's where you and I originally met.
Yes.
Back in 01 and 02. I love that. And you may not know this, but I was there seeking answers and help for my own chronic health and pain problems, as I also have a chronic fatigue issue, or have had for a very long time.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I got Lyme disease in 1988 and just tanked after that. So, it was in the middle 90s. I was literally dying. So it's been a long road of recovery for me as well. So, I knew there were things that brought us together there, and I know a lot of our listeners also suffer from these kinds of problems. So, and I know we want to help them know that there are answers and there is help. We found it. Yes.
We found it, yes.
Yeah, we did. So what life changes have you seen as a result of that?
Oh, well, I would say that those types of symptoms went into total remission.
Really? Wow.
Yes, for many, many years. And I was catapulted on this path. Literally, it was like grabbing hold of a caboose of a train, and it just took off, and I was with it.
Wow.
And became a full-time Bodytalk practitioner within 6 months.
Wow.
I know. Talk about, the clouds opening up and the trumpets blaring. It was like, wow, this is it for me. This is what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
So my entire life changed within a year.
Yeah.
I had a baby. I had my second child, Cal.
Wow.
And so I was going through that learning process as well as becoming a mom for the second time. And I knew, when you find something that I just knew that this is it for me. This has been the most miraculous. That's the only word that I could think that I could use to describe it for me. It felt instantaneous. It was a huge shift in personal awareness, consciousness, awareness of my environment, and I went on to train to teach the system, and that's really been my path and the path of our entire family for the past 8-9 years.
Wow. I just realized that our listeners may not know much about the Bodytalk system. Can you tell us briefly what that actually is? And I know, and by the way, want people to know that we also do Bodytalk on animals.
Yes.
So can you just give us a baseline on what that is?
The Bodytalk system is a holistic, integrative form of energy medicine that honors the body's natural ability to heal.
Okay.
We know that we as practitioners don't do anything. We just get to observe. Everyone's body can do it on its own. And by not having an agenda and being the observer of someone's experience, they are free to shift. And we help the body connect different areas. Let's say if they have an endocrine issue going on that's displaying in some type of symptomology, or they've been diagnosed with something. As a practitioner, we use muscle checking, which is an intuitive form of diagnosis that we get to uncover what the underlying lack of communication is in the body-mind. And it may be an environmental issue. It may be that they're stressed out at their job.
Yeah.
It may be financial. It may be hereditary. It's, that's called epigenetic factors, which is a big buzzword now that Bruce Lipton has brought to the forefront. He's a very well-known, doctor and scientist. And it's completely non-invasive. It's very relaxing and immensely powerful.
Yeah.
To experience.
Thank you. That helps. Okay. And I know people can find out more about that on our websites as well as the Bodytalk system.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Bodytalksystem.com.
Great. So let's go on then. And I know that one of the things you have been led to work with is Mindscape. And so before we talk about Pumpkin and your cat and your experiences with him, maybe we should give folks an idea of what Mindscape is all about, too, because that's integral to our story today.
It is very much so. After I became very involved with teaching Bodytalk, Mindscape is actually one of the courses in the Life Sciences program within the Bodytalk system, and it's actually the methodology that Dr. Veltheim used to create the Bodytalk system itself.
Right.
Many people don't realize that.
I did not know that either.
He created, he compiled this weekend course from everything he had learned as a young person and his travels around the world, in something that was very easy to learn, very easy to teach to people that they could integrate instantly into their lives. And it's how to trust your gut, how to embrace our natural intuitive sense, to be able to use our imagination and our, I think our sense of play and fun.
Yeah.
To interact with our life. It's a language actually that we learn. I mean, I think it's the equivalent of learning a foreign language in a weekend.
Oh, cool.
That's what students have told me.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I took the Mindscape course, literally, next to my first Bodytalk system experience in class, that was the second turning point of my life, because I thought, you mean I'm not weird? You mean the way I've been my entire life is normal and is actually beneficial for my body?
How could that possibly be?
Wow, maybe that's why I've been so ill. I've been denying a true essential part of my nature that's required for health and well-being.
Yes.
And I thought, if I'm doing that, who else is doing that? Well, a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Most people.
Most.
Would you agree with me on that?
Absolutely. Yes, unfortunately so. However, interestingly, our animals actually don't.
No, they don't.
Which is really fun.
That's why they are, our best teachers in that area.
They are. Yeah. So, other famous people have used Mindscape, right?
Yes, they have.
Yeah. Give us a rundown on some of those, so people will know that we are not alone. That this is something that has been used to the ages for great effect.
Mm-hmm. People that we would consider geniuses of our time: Albert Einstein, Edison, Tesla,
Edison. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Mozart. All of these famous men and many, many countless others have used a workshop, that's in quotations, type of brainstorming.
Okay.
So Tesla even talks about this. Nikola Tesla talks about this in his memoirs. He says, I go to this place in my mind where I run through things in my imagination over and over and over again. And when I bring them out into reality, they're always right 100% of the time. Wow. He was a master inventor.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Thomas Edison was, the same way. They were actually contemporaries. They were, inventing at the same time period. Right. And Edison realized that when he was in this nice, relaxed state by the fire in the evening, sitting in his rocking chair, rocking next to the fire, hearing the rocking chair creak across the wood floor, you can imagine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
Warm. That he would have his hands in his lap, and that's when he would come upon his ideas.
Oh.
And what would happen for him is at the end of a long day, he would fall asleep, and he would wake up and think, oh, what was that idea? And he would have a difficult time recapturing that brainstorming process. Right. So he put ball bearings in his hands. Huh. In the most simple genius, right? Put ball bearings in his hands. And what happens when we start to fall asleep? Our hands relax.
Right.
The ball bearings would fall on the floor, and he would wake him up.
I love that.
And he could, that's what I was thinking of.
What a great low-tech idea, huh?
Isn't that a great low-tech? It's so inexpensive. Yeah. Ball bearings on the wood floor.
I love that.
The great thing about Mindscape is that in this weekend course, we remind people that we can stay in this relaxed state of mental focus. It's called the alpha state. Okay. You don't have to carry ball bearings around.
Okay.
or go onto the roof and feed pigeons. Yeah, like Tesla did. Or lay on the grass and stare at the clouds like Einstein did. That's when he came upon the theory of relativity. He was lying up looking at the clouds pass by. Wow. Pondering. And that's a natural state of alpha. The benefits of that, we could go on and on about that.
Yeah, a natural state. I love that because it's also really cool you said that because all of us do those things.
Yes.
All of us do that. We call it daydreaming or whatever, but there's a specific way to go into the alpha state that can be incredibly productive and revealing. So now let's talk about pumpkin. So folks have an idea of that, and how that works. Because I know you used tools in Mindscape to help you with his illness and subsequent death and transition. Mm-hmm. So give us some background, Angela. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
Well, Pumpkin was our family pet, our dear friend. That he was 16, and we adopted him from the shelter when he was just a preemie, I called him. We had to bottle feed him.
Oh, wow, a preemie.
To keep him alive, and he lost all of his hair. And so he was our little bald preemie kitty for a solid year. And many vets said, he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it. Well, 16 years later, he did. The healthiest cat I've ever known. And every vet after that said, this is the healthiest cat I've ever seen. Thank you, Bodytalk. Yes,
thank you so much.
He was a Bodytalk kitty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anytime he had anything going on, runny nose, a splinter, a cat fight, instantly we would do Bodytalk for animals. I would use the Mindscape techniques that I learned, and he would take care of that on his own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In 16 years, we only had to go through that a couple of times. Pretty amazing. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, pretty amazing. It was a very stress-free life for everybody, for him.
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it? Mm-hmm.
Well, toward the last 6 months or so, he began to exhibit some very strange behaviors, very different than his normal personality. Now, it wasn't constant. It would come and go. Things like he would look very confused. We would be able to sneak up on him in the backyard, which is very abnormal for a cat, for him, because he could always sense where things were. And he cried a lot. It wasn't a hello cry. It was a I don't know where I am kind of cry. And so I had many questions about that. And I had some suspicions about what was going on with him. But that was really the only outward symptoms he was displaying.
Okay.
So that went on for a little while. And he had some situations early on in life where I took him in for some, vet checkups, vaccinations, and to have his teeth cleaned actually once when he was a kitten. And they sedate them for that.
Okay.
Well, he almost didn't make it out of that alive. It was very touch and go, and we had to use antibiotics for something else once, and he had a very severe reaction to that. He usually had very severe reactions to vaccinations. He was just a very delicate soul. Thank goodness we had these alternative ways of healing, right? For him.
Yes.
So, because of that, our vets knew this wasn't a cat that we could pill all the time and poke needles into and sedate.
Yeah.
He was basically, it wasn't going to happen for him.
Yeah.
So I used Mindscape to tune into him to see what was going on.
Okay.
And because he was my cat, and cats mirror us, animals do that.
Yes,
I learned that from you.
Thank you.
And from Animal Talk.
Yeah.
He would give me distinct messages. I was able to, using my imagination in Mindscape, which is the framework that we use in our creative visualization capabilities.
Yeah.
I was able to guesstimate. I had a gut feeling that he had some dementia going on, and that it was a natural part of aging, and that he was losing his vision, and that his kidneys might be struggling and that kind of thing. It was a natural part of getting older.
Yeah.
We also had a suspicion that he was living a double life.
Really?
Yes, and because he would come home after a couple of days. He loved being outside. He was inside for 7 years, and then we moved into this house with a beautiful neighborhood and tons of animals that lived outside, and that was what he wanted to do. He would disappear for days on end, and he would come home, but he was perfectly clean, fed, and happy.
Oh my! Wow.
Right. So I had to eventually release my worry about that. I'm like, so where are you staying?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's feeding you? Who's taking care of you? Who's brushing you?
Who's your other family?
Who's your other family? And I really thought that he had several families. We all took care of each other's cats. And
yeah.
But some things happened, these last few months that really brought home synchronicity of what he was here to teach us.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't even know where to begin. It is such a amazing story.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Is there any one part of the story you'd like for me to focus on for him?
Well, I remember a bit when you brought me in. Let's talk about that for just a moment, because I know that's how I got involved in the story, and that's actually how this concept for the interview even was born. Let's talk about that part. So I know that you were struggling with a lot of unanswered questions, concerns, and were feeling really helpless watching him decline. And all the vocalizing, and knew he was trying to tell you something that you got some messages on but weren't really clear on some others.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because I know you said that was, after what followed from that session, was pretty life-changing. So
that was a turning point.
It was a turning point, right. It was a major turning point for everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. So I use my Mindscape techniques to, I asked who is the best person to help our family and help our cat with what's going on, because I knew that wasn't the option. That's where I got dovetailed there.
Yeah.
And you popped into my head.
Oh, cool.
And I said, well, of course. It was one of those V8 moments. I was like, oh, why haven't I called Val sooner? You know? Why did I do that sooner?
Why did I?
And then I was actually at a class over the weekend, and a mutual friend of ours said, have you thought about calling Val? And I was like, okay, that's it. You know, I'm taking that second hint.
Yeah, how many clues does the universe have to give us before
exactly.
we say something, right?
Usually it's 3. I stop and listen, but this was 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So I set up an appointment with you, and it had been years since we had talked.
Yes, it had.
And I really gave you very little background of what was going on, because I knew that you would do that. I trusted that you would be able to fill me in on the priority, and you confirmed all of my thoughts, my instinctual hunches.
Wow.
You filled in all the pieces. You put the puzzle together. It's as if I had this massive jigsaw puzzle on the table, and you helped me fill it in. You know how satisfying that is when you get to put the last piece in the middle?
Yeah.
It was like, yes!
Yay, happy dance.
I suspected that, but I was so close to the situation. I had a very difficult time because I was so emotional about it too.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know,
it's so hard.
I really needed someone else's input.
Right.
That's what you were able to do for us.
I'm so glad. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And so what happened then?
Well, one of my main concerns was, I did not want him to suffer. I intuitively knew that he was declining, and I did not want him to suffer through this. I had a concern he would walk off the place and die in the bushes, you know?
Yeah.
That he was in pain that we didn't know about. Animals, aren't they good at hiding pain from us?
Usually so, yes.
And I thought that he was hurting someplace, but I couldn't pinpoint where.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned to me, you said, I think he's hurting in his neck. That communication session was just beautiful.
Thanks.
And, so I took your advice on all the things you suggested that we do to help support him, because he was struggling in so many ways, nutritionally, energetically. He had pain going on. You told us that you thought that he had, some kitty dementia.
Yeah.
And that I would need to remind him of things. Well, it was like as if he had Alzheimer's. Yes. Literally. And you said you'll have to remind him to stay close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did that. And I also, I wanted to know what to do when it was his time.
Yeah. Right. That's so important. That's one of the most important conversations. It relieves the stress and makes everything so much simpler.
That was huge for our family. Because even though I knew it was right, and I knew it was the most humane gift that I could give him. Right. The gift of euthanasia, death with dignity, I call it. Exactly, death with dignity. I still had this little inkling in my heart of, but is there anything else that I could do? Is there a simple solution? Can I extend his life 6 more months? And I thought, what is the use? Would it be quality of life? Would it lead to something like a tragic death of walking out in the street and being hit by a car? That's what I didn't want to have happen. Yeah, and when they get to that point, that's what they do. Yeah. Okay, I'm out of here. They'll find a way to go. They will find a way to go. And that's really what I was feeling internally. So you helped give us so much closure and so much peace about that. And there's something else that just I have to share with your listeners. Okay. So the biggest puzzle piece for me is that where was he hanging out? Oh, yeah, we have to talk about that. That is so cool. So where was he disappearing to all that time? Well, I mentioned, I think he's going someplace else. And then you said, yes, I see a medium-build elderly lady with gray hair. Yeah. And I thought, racking my brain, who is that? Who is that in the neighborhood? So I used my Mindscape techniques to actually pinpoint the home. Oh, cool. On our street. Yeah. It made all the sense. It was the yard without the fence. You could just walk down the alley and walk right up to her back porch. Yeah. Everyone else was fenced in. Yeah. And And then you gave us a lot of other wonderful details, like he was concerned about her health.
Yes.
And that she takes care of him, like she brushes him. Because the week before, this was the big piece for me. The week before, his collar had fallen off. And that happens every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And I just have extra collars on hand. Well, at that time I did not. And it was concerning for me. I was like, oh, he's outside, doesn't have his rabies tags, I don't want him to get picked up by the pound, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
2 days later, his collar was back on. And I said, you're busted.
The mystery of the disappearing collar.
The disappearing collar, because over the years, it has mysteriously ended up in our mailbox.
Oh.
Somebody, he's dropping his collar in someone's yard, and they, we have a lot of neighbors. We walk the park together, and I didn't think much of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he trusted someone enough to let them put his collar back on.
Wow.
And, and a couple of times he would come home and he wouldn't eat his dinner at night. And I thought, oh, someone's also feeding you. Who is this? Who's taking care of my kitty? So this is what was so significant for me after the process of letting him go. After taking him to the vet and making the decision, which she helped me with. She examined him and said, she said, you're right on target.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is? What do you think's going on? Since, even if we did do blood work, he wouldn't tolerate the medication.
Right.
I said, well, this is what we think is going on. And she said, oh, yep, you're right on target. And, it looks exactly like kidney failure, liver failure, and, losing his sight.
Right.
So after we went through the process of euthanasia, I really resisted finding the neighbor.
Yeah.
You ever done that? Have you ever,
Oh, God, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe it was my way of holding on, hanging on to the last bit of him.
Yeah.
And at the dinner table, this just happened a few nights ago. I haven't told you this yet.
Oh, good. Tell me.
At the dinner table, it was a beautiful evening, and I was drinking some tea, looking into our backyard. And I've been dealing with a cold. And both of my kids say, Mom, I wonder why you're hanging on to this cold so long. Normally you don't get sick. And my husband, being a smarty pants, said, well, it's because you don't have any closure about Pumpkin, and you haven't gone over to visit the neighbor yet. And I said, well, aren't you smart? Okay.
After you hit him with the roll.
Yeah, as I throw food at him. And we have that kind of relationship. And I said, oh, thank you for that insight. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And the kids chuckled. I said, you're right. That's probably what it is. You just do it. Just do it. And I said, okay. Everyone got up from the kitchen table, and I sat there just thinking, what am I going to say to her? How am I going to explain myself? What am I going to talk about? So I gathered up some pictures that I had of Pumpkin in a collage, and I sat down again at the table, and I was formulating my thoughts before I left the house. I looked up into the backyard where my hammock was. And if you'll read my testimony, you'll see that the hammock was a significant piece of this.
Yeah, and
Pumpkin.
By the way, everyone, I'm going to be posting your story on the site, so y'all get to hear all the rest of the insights and stories also.
Thank you. So the hammock
is a lot that we're not going to be able to get into today, I know. Go ahead.
Exactly. Well, the hammock was where that was our ritual. That's where we talked.
Okay.
And you had said to me during our phone conversation, our session, he will give you a sign when he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, one evening he jumped into that hammock, which he'd never done before. I don't know how he did it because it's very high and very tenuous. It's very, you have to hold it to sit down as an adult.
Yeah.
He was sitting in that hammock, meowing very softly. And I went outside that night. It was a beautiful night. We were looking at the stars, and I looked at him, and I heard in my mind, in my imagination, this is my sign. It's time.
Yeah.
So, we had this awesome moment of connection.
Wow.
And so that evening, when I was preparing to go down the street to talk to the neighbor, I looked out onto into the backyard. And under the hammock was our neighborhood cat.
Yeah.
Sitting under the hammock, Val.
Oh.
Now, this was kind of my Captain Nemesis. They weren't always friendly. There were territorial issues.
Right.
But he was sitting perfectly poised, staring right at me.
Wow.
And what I heard in my mind was, go down there now.
Go. Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, is this cat talking to me?
Yes, indeed.
And, oh, my goodness. And I looked at him again, and I said, really? And he said, go down there now.
Yeah.
So I stood up, and as I stood up from the table, he turned very slowly, and he walked the same exact path that Pumpkin would walk up the back fence.
Oh, wow, he's showing you. Oh, God, me. I've got chill bumps all over.
I did too. Total chills down my spine when that happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then something else that my husband brought to my attention. He said, the dogs next door, which never bark, have been barking incessantly for 2 days.
Wow.
They never, in the 3 years that she's lived next door, never barked. And they were on to something. They would not be quiet.
Wow.
Well, as I walked out of the house down the street, they sat and stared at me.
Wow. Oh, God.
And their heads followed me every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was like this procession.
Yeah, it was a procession.
It was a closure. It was very ceremonial. It was,
yes.
Okay, she's finally going.
Yes.
They haven't barked since. Okay. So, into the story. I know I'm taking a long time, but this is the good part. This is this last piece of the puzzle that you helped me so dearly with.
Okay.
Rang the doorbell. They answered the door. They came out. And the dearest couple, we've trick-or-treated at their house before. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I introduced myself, and I said, do you recognize this kitty? And he said, the gentleman said, we haven't seen him in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was caught. He went, like, oh, she knows kind of thing.
Uh-oh. Uh-huh. Ooh.
And I started to explain to him all the synchronicities that, I understood. And he said, yes, we're the ones that returned the caller. And yes, he likes to hang out on our porch.
Yeah. And
yes, and by the way, this is the house that he fell under the foundation. We were doing foundation work.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there was this connection made. Well, his wife was standing there, and Val, she had dementia. Uh-huh. And she was losing her sight. Oh. And she was not hearing things very well. Uh-huh. She asked me several times what my name was. And then when I recognized that Pumpkin was mirroring for her.
Right. Yes.
It flooded into me this total awareness of what animals do with us and for us. Wow. I thought that I knew, but at that moment I just knew with every part of me. And it was just, she looked at me, she made eye contact, and her eyes were so deep, and she looked at the picture of the cat, and she couldn't verbalize what she wanted to say. Yeah. But she said to me, you are so beautiful. Oh. And she said, this makes me very happy. Mm-hmm. And then literally moments later, she had to ask me what my name was again. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you remind me of my cat. Yeah. One minute he would know me, and the next minute he wouldn't. Right. Right. Yeah. So we had this, he said, don't be a stranger. And I said, I won't. And I left. As I walked back to the house, the dogs watched me. Uh-huh. And the feeling of peace that I was able to take from that synchronicity was really life-changing. Yeah. And your cold got better? Oh, get this. The next day it was gone.
Gone completely, right?
Completely gone. And that was another duh. I was like, duh.
Yeah.
Moment, but we do what we do. And that was also me processing grief and
right. Yes.
Yes. It was instantaneous.
Well, and that's what we've learned with the Bodytalk system also, is that if there's a block somewhere in the body mind, whether emotionally, mentally, or and I guess to me it's the energetics is the emotional, mental kind of energy that the body reflects. And so if we have something off or stuck or not shifting or moving in the emotional or mental self or spiritual self, I guess, then it shows up in the physical body. So,
it does. I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is so cool. Oh, girl. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's amazing.
It was so wonderful to be able to reconnect with you in this way. And I'm really grateful for Pumpkin.
Yeah.
For that.
I know a lot of animals, they'll get to the point where, their person is just desperate, and they'll call out, and they'll find someone like me.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk to them, we open the gateway of communicating and understanding each other, deep understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything shifts. And then sometimes the animals actually are fine. It wasn't really their issue to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and they move on. It was their person. It's like they were bringing their person to get help in the only way that they could,
mm-hmm.
however that worked. So anyway, oh man, I'm still got goosebumps. It's like,
I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of the synchronicity play out. I know it's not done.
Yeah. No, it'll continue to unfold. Pumpkin is still with you.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's still guiding you too. So
we feel that.
Yeah. So let's talk. Let's kind of wrap it up a little bit. I know this has been a little. Just wonderful. I mean, I could talk to you all day. Tell people a little more about Mindscape. What kind of person would benefit from learning it, and how do you use it? How would somebody use it in their life? Why is it important?
I have had every age student. I taught my 5-year-old son how to use it.
Cool.
Children naturally use their imagination.
Well,
we get programmed out of that as adults, but
we do. I hate that.
Yeah, how many times as a child do you hear, "Oh, that's only in your imagination."
Right.
Like
that's a bad thing.
Like you must be making this up. It's not valid. And
right.
then we learn not to trust it.
Yes.
Our imagination is how our instinct, our intuition speaks to us.
Yes.
So it's as if we are, as adults, disengaging the most important part of our survival mechanism and our creative spirit.
Yeah.
Good artists have great imaginations because they could see it, they could feel it, they could visualize it, and then they could bring it out into the world and manifest it.
They bring it to life, yeah.
So anyone can benefit, and everyone does benefit from Mindscape.
Yes. Okay, good.
We learn any age. I say 8 to 88, but really it's 5 to 100 is
okay.
Birth to whenever. There's no limit to that.
Right.
Every person comes in where they are, and they leave in a more expanded state.
Okay.
I have trained sales forces, artists, doctors, stay-at-home moms, veterinarians, health practitioners, you name it. I mean, it just really every type of profession, every type of person, every walk of life.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone that's alive can.
Well, does that cover it?
Yeah, pretty much.
But why is it important, though? You've had the course. Why is it important? It was life-changing for me because it enabled me to not only have access to my inner world, but have a deeper understanding of how I interact and where I fit into the big piece.
Right.
The big puzzle of life.
Right.
And it really is as simple as, do I take the highway or the back way today?
Yeah.
I think I'll take the back way.
Right.
Well, there was traffic. There was a wreck on the highway. Good thing I listened to my gut.
Yeah. Right.
Do I go this way or that way with my career?
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't eat that chicken in the refrigerator.
Yeah. That's a good one.
These are simple, everyday questions, moment-to-moment questions that if we're not asking ourselves, intuitively, we may stumble upon some roadblocks in our life.
Yeah. Yep. I find personally also that it gives me access to all other information I wouldn't have known. So.
You're very right.
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful techniques that we learn in the program about bringing in experts or calling on other consciousnesses or other bodies of knowledge that we can grasp, like a download. We could literally download information.
That is very possible, and it really is a direct link to universal or collective, the collective unconscious.
It's like the original Google.
Exactly. And we have students that say that they use their Google map to get around.
Google map. I love that.
In Mindscape. And you really can. You really can do that. The applications are endless, and it's so much fun to access that childlike state again.
It is. It's a joy. It's like it makes everything new again.
Yes, you're right.
See it with new eyes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And many students have told me that for the first time in their life, they feel like they are in tune, or things are easier. There's less struggle.
Yeah.
And, you've met people like that. Things just seem to fall on their lap.
Yeah. And
they
don't
just
we all
naturally
want to have that? Yeah.
float through life. It's because they're in tune with it, and they've tuned their frequency with that wavelength. And we're all just frequencies of light.
Right. That's true. That's true. We are.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is there an exercise you could give us today that we could that could get us started?
There is.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, do it.
You have a couple of minutes?
I think we do.
Okay. Let's see. Let's use two things that we always have with us.
Okay.
One is the breath.
Okay.
We always have our breath, and we always have our imagination.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you're listening right now, close your eyes.
Okay.
And focus on the breath. Breathe in through your nose. And release the breath through your mouth. Just spend a few moments getting in touch with how that feels. Imagining that your breath is a wave. You can call it a wave of relaxation. You can imagine that you're at the beach, if you'd like to, and that you can hear the waves crashing onto the shore. If you're not at the beach, what if you're in the mountains? You could smell the trees and imagine that your breath, this wave, is the wind. And with every breath, you could feel the wind gently touching your skin. Allow all of your senses, your sense of vision, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, allow those senses to explore where you are in your mind right now. Imagining a place from nature that's relaxing for you. And now that you're in this place from nature, what would resemble a wave? Would it be water? Would it be air? And imagine that wave flowing through your body with every breath. So we're going to bring this wave up to the very top of our heads. Breathe into your nose. Imagine that you're bringing this wave up to the very top of your head, the very tip top of your scalp. Take your focus there. And as you exhale, imagine this wave as it flows down over your face, through your neck, over the tops of your shoulders, rolling down over your chest, through your rib cage, into your abdomen. And then now, the same breath as you continue to breathe in and out will flow over and through your arms, and then continue down into your legs. Over and through your legs, feeling the energy of the breath traveling through the body, through the fingertips and the toes. And now open your eyes and notice how you feel. You may notice a difference in your breathing. You may notice that you're also still somewhat focused on this place from nature. Imagining what that wave is, what it feels like, what it might even look like to you. And now you can use this technique, this state of being, whenever you'd like to. If you're feeling a little stressed or worried, if you'd like a deeper focus, more concentration, more awareness, whether the awareness is internally about yourself or externally about your environment, all you need to do is close your eyes and breathe. And remember what this wave feels like. Remembering this place from nature. And you'll be able to return here. So now we're going to take one more breath. And we're back.
Oh, I feel refreshed. Lighter, calm, relaxed, very present. Oh, that was lovely, Angela. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. That's what my children call their happy place.
and I
said, they use that in every type of situation. And I asked my son, why is it your happy place? He said, well, because when I do that, I feel happy. I said, well, that makes sense.
Absolutely. Love it.
For your listeners, Val, if they would like it, I can put a more expanded version of this relaxation on my website for them to access.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Mm-hmm. So tell us, how would we get that?
Well, let's see, my website address, if you'd like to jot this down, is www.alignwithenergy.com.
Okay.
So when you go to alignwithenergy.com, look on the main page. You'll see a tab. We'll have something there. You'll notice it. It will say either link to the Dr. Doolittle show or a tab that says click here for your relaxation download.
Okay. Very good.
So they'll click on that, and we're going to have it password protected. Let's do that.
Okay.
So only your listeners will be able to access this.
Yes, only our lucky listeners of the Dr. Doolittle show can have this wonderful download.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
So let's make an easy passcode. How about we do 1, 2, 3, 4?
Oh, that's easy. Easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that. Okay.
And so they can enter in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they can download it to an MP3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Put it on their iPod or burn a CD.
Love it.
And it will be a little bit longer. I will take them through, a more detailed relaxation state.
Okay.
But the benefit of that is actually a deeper state of awareness.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. So everybody go to www.alignwithenergy.com, AlignWithenergy.com, and sign up and get your download. And by the way, you're teaching classes on this.
Yes. Yeah, that is my passion.
Yeah.
Yes, we have classes all over the U.S. and internationally now.
Oh, cool.
You'll find that on my website.
Okay.
And also on the bodytalksystem.com.
Great. Yeah.
You can pull up my name and find, you can find Mindscape courses all over the world. But I would love to see you in a class. And if you do come to one of my classes, make sure you let me know that you are a listener of the Dr. Doolittle show, so we'll have some things to talk about.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I love that. Thanks, Angela. Oh, man, I've enjoyed talking with you today.
It's been my pleasure, Val. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the good work you're doing and to help change the world, to make it a happier place for all of us, our animals included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's say adieu, and we'll catch up another day. So thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. For more information or to listen to other podcasts, go to valhart.com/blog. And if you're someone who values a non-invasive, holistic solution to resolving problems with your dogs, cats, and horses, and you want better behaved, healthier, and happier animals, just go to my website at valhart.com to apply for a complimentary Happy Animal Assessment session. And be sure and remember to look for my CDs on iTunes. Learning how to talk with animals is fun and will change your life. So while you're there at my site, get my free Quick Start Animal Talk course and check out the world's first complete Animal Communication Made Easy system. May the love of animals bless you, teach you, inspire you, heal you, and reconnect you to the circle of life.